All right, number 4, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do some algebra here. So for number 4, let me fix this up. So we have y equals -3 cosine, and then we're going to apply the distributive property. So we have pi over 3 theta plus pi over 3 minus 2. The amplitude is the absolute value of -3, which is 3. The period is 2 pi divided by pi over 3, which is 2 pi times 3 over pi. So the pi cancels, so you have 6. The period is 6. Okay. The phase shift will be pi over 3 to the left. So it's going to be negative pi over 3. The midline is -2. So you have a midline of -2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and type this into the calculator. So I have y equals negative cosine, -3 cosine parentheses pi divided by 3, pi divided by 3 plus pi divided by 3 minus 2. And so what I'm going to do, since you notice the graph, it's a flat line, and I'm going to go ahead and write f of x. So let's go to, it's in radians. Oh, you know why we're missing the x. So we're going to type in an x, and there you go. So what you want to do, we know that cosine is going to start at -1, -5. So let me go ahead and graph that. So we have -1. We have -1, -5. And then we have the y-intercept 0, -3.5, which is right here. And then we have the highest point, which is 2, 1. So we have 2, 1. Excuse me. We have 2, 1. Let me go ahead and erase this right here. So that's 2, 1. So the next one, the intercept is 1.1970. So it's like right here. And then we have it intercept here. So the lowest point again is 5, -5. Let me erase that. The next point is 5, -5. So it looks something like this. -5, and then once again, no, that would be the period. Yeah, from here, -1 to -5, that would be the period, that'd be 6. Okay. Then it starts repeating again, okay? For number 5, we know that the amplitude is equal to 2. Now to find the period, it will have to be 2 pi over 2, which is the same thing as saying 2 pi times 2 over pi. So we have 2 pi divided by pi over 2 is equal to 2 pi over 1 times 2 over pi. Pi's cancel, so the period is 4. So the only one that satisfies a period of 4 is B. We have, and it's cosine. So it starts at 0 and it ends at 4 right here. That's the period. And then we know that the amplitude is 2. Now, if you want to check with your Desmos, you can. It's 2 cosine of pi divided by 2, and then we have x. So if you look at the graph, and I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, we have here this point, which is 0, 2. We have 1, 0. We have 2, -2. We have 3, 0. And then, of course, we end with 4, 2. And there it is. Okay, so the answer is B. Now we're going to go ahead and work on number 14. 14. So we know that the period, or the amplitude, is the absolute value of -2. So the absolute value of -2 is 2. The period is 2 pi over, this is, pi is B, so the period is 2. And we're talking about sine. So the only one that has a period of 2 is D. So this answer is D. And we're going to check why it would be D. So let me go ahead and use Desmos. And that's maximize this. Okay, here we go. So let's use Desmos. And so it's going to be 2. And I am purposely not writing the negative so you can see why. Okay. So if I make it larger, you notice that it looks like this. The negative is going to reflect it. That's what's going to happen. So if I had a negative, so now you see the reflection. Now if I wanted, I know there's too many of them, but now you can see you can see the answer is D. Okay. Let me go ahead and minimize this, and then we're going to work on number 6. So we know that D is out, B is out. Okay. So let me just go ahead and minimize this and move it up just a little. Okay. So for number 6, we know that the amplitude is the absolute value of -2, which is 2. And we know that the period is 2 pi divided by b, this is b, is 2, so the period is pi. So, by looking at the remaining graphs, we know that the period is pi. So just by looking at the graphs, we know that the answer is A. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you using Desmos why the answer is A. So let me clear this out. So we have f of x equals -2 cosine of 2x. And you notice it's at 0, -2. It's at pi over 4, which is in between between 0 and pi over 2. The highest point is pi over 2, and then we have another intercept at 3 pi over 4, 0. And then we end at pi -2, so the answer is A. And then for our final answer, we know that this is going to be C. And we know that the amplitude is equal to 2. And we know that the period is equal to 2 pi divided by 1/2. So once again, you're going to do the reciprocal. So the period is 4 pi. So your answer is C. And so if you want to check, what you have to do here is you do 2, and this is 1/2. This is 1/2. And I'm going to go ahead and make it larger. I'm going to actually shrink it. No, I'm going to make it larger. And you're going to notice that it is 4 pi. I just couldn't fix it, but it is 4 pi. So your answer is C. For number 9, we notice that it's going to be a cosine. It's going to be a cosine graph. Now, I know that it starts here because of the nature of cosine. It starts here. And no, it's not cosine. I apologize. It is sine. Let me erase this. It's sine. It is sine. It's a sine graph. We know that it starts here. It goes to a min. It intercepts here. It goes to a max. It intercepts here. And it ends here. Okay, so we got these points that are here. And you notice that at y equals -2, that's our new midline. So I'm going to put midline is at -2. The next thing that we need to find is the amplitude. I know it goes up 1, 2, 3, so an amplitude of 3. 1, 2, 3, so it goes down 3. So there's the absolute value of 3, which is 3. Now, you notice that sine normally goes like this. So there is a reflection. So it really is -3. The period, and I'm going to break it up into 6 parts. So this is pi over 6. This is 2 pi over 6. This is 3 pi over 6. This is 4 pi over 6. This is 5 pi over 6. And I know that this right here is 6 pi over 6. And I know that this is 7 pi over 6. So the period is going to end at 8 pi over 6. And I have to make sure that it's right. So it's 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, 6 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6, and then we have 8 pi over 6. So the period is 8 pi over 6, which simplifies to 4 pi over 3. So we got to find the value of b. So we know that the period is going to be 2 pi over b, and we know that the period is 4 pi over 3. So you notice I set them equal to each other. I'm going to cross multiply. So you have 6 pi is equal to b times 4 pi. So you divide by 4 pi. These cancel. So b, these cancel. Divisible by 2, so it's 3 over 2. So if you wanted to draw, if you wanted to write the equation, it's going to be y equals a negative 3 sine, and you have 3 over 2x. And then you have the new midline, which is minus 2. Okay?